I'm very happy to be associated with ARI. ARI is an institution which has grown over the last 55 years. It started off as a test center, grown into a homologation center, and now it is grown into a research and development organization of repute. It is recognized not only in India but all over the world for the capability which they have built over the years. I'm also very proud to be associated with this institution over the last 4 years as being member of the governing council and also as president of ARI. ARI has, now working on cutting edge technology projects with automakers, with auto component manufacturers, the Ministry of Road Transport, by DHI, by CSIR, as well as many other defense labs. They're also working with ISRO. And so this is something which is very unique about ARI, that over so many years, they are continuing to build up capability and adding to the facilities. And therefore, I'm sure that over the next couple of years, they are putting up many more facilities which would enable them to do testing and homologation for the future technology. ARI has also been working with the Department of Heavy Industries on a new program called TechnoNovus, which is a website portal for promoting innovations and future technologies. And this platform, you have renowned experts on subject matters who are also working along with the industry and academicians. So I think it's a portal and a website where there is a lot of cross-pollination of ideas and also solutions are being built. ARI has been in association with SA India and SA International, has been organizing SIAT. The theme of the 2021 SIAT is redefining mobility for the future, and I believe it is a very apt topic because whatever we have seen over the last decade and what we will see in the next decade is going to redefine mobility. We have the Honorable Minister of Heavy Industries, Dr. Mahendranath Pandeyji, who will be the inaugural chief guest, and also the Honorable Minister of Road Transport, Shri Gadkariji, who will be the chief guest at the valedictory session. SIAT will have 132 technical papers, 48 keynote addresses, and 2 plenary sessions, and a panel discussion. This is the first time it is being held on a complete virtual platform, and we expect more than 3,000 industry fraternity to be joining this event. They will have the privilege of listening to many technical papers and discussions which are relevant, not just current issues, but future technologies. We will also have a virtual expo with about 100 plus companies who will be demonstrating their products and technologies. So I would like to wish the SIAT convener and the organizing team all the very best for a very successful SIAT, and also to all the participants and the speakers for having engaging discussions over the next 3 days. Electrification is a global phenomenon, and countries across the globe have embarked on this path. Contextually, it is also relevant regionally, and regional factors, conditions, objectives are very different, and they are in a way defining the electrification path. India, of course, is at a nascent stage with a very huge potential to grow. The most important challenge for India is the import of crude oil, and energy security is a very important aspect, and we need to focus on sustainable and clean mobility in the long run. Government has, of course, prioritized the electrification journey for two-wheelers, for fleet, four-wheelers and for public transport. And in the long term, of course, there is a push towards going towards hydrogen. There is a view that there should be a technological agnostic approach towards this, and we should have all technologies like biofuels, gas-based technologies like CNG, hybrids, and electric vehicles all will be there in this space, because we need to also ensure that we need to reduce the overall consumption of petrol and diesel going forward. Our Honorable Prime Minister has outlined a vision for energy independent India, which is based on gaseous fuels, electric mobility with renewable energy, biofuels, and green hydrogen. And we need to work towards measures of localization through demand aggregation of key components like battery, motor, power electronics, and we need to ensure that this aggregation will help in this localization and our imperative of India for Atmanirbhar Bharat, and thereby promoting Make in India. Of course, charging infrastructure is very, very important, and this will be key for the expansion of the battery electric vehicles going forward. And I'm sure there will be innovative model solutions which will be coming up in future. All stakeholders need to come together to create this ecosystem for the future going forward. Alternative fuels like CNG, ethanol, bio-CNG can provide affordable mobility to masses in India while achieving the energy security and emission reduction. India is very different from advanced countries, so future mobility solutions could also be very different. CNG today is accounting for almost 7 to 8% of the industry sales, and this is, however, been limited by the availability of the CNG fuel. The government has a very ambitious mission of scaling up the CNG infrastructure to 10,000 stations by the end of this decade, and about 5,000 to 6,000 stations by 2025-26. So CNG is poised to become a mainstream fuel, and today, contextually for the customer, it has the lowest running cost, and there is a need to focus on CNG infrastructure and development of CNG related parts, localization of that going forward. And there is a big thrust by the government of India for pushing for a gas-based economy. The other aspect, of course, is LNG, which is now being also considered for the heavy-duty vehicles. And that, I think, as an ecosystem, we need to build. Ethanol as a biofuel is carbon neutral, has a high potential to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The national biofuel policy has been adopted, and the oil industry is going to achieve 10% ethanol blending across the country soon. The government has also mandated 20% of the blending of ethanol by 2025, and capacity augmentation for availability of ethanol is being worked at by the various stakeholders. India has a strategic advantage for adoption of biofuels, being an agricultural economy, and this grain-based ethanol production is going to help us to achieve our targets for achieving this 20% blending. There's also a push towards flex fuel vehicles. The industry is working and evaluating this technology going forward. Needless to say, the current gasoline engines are already compatible for 10% ethanol, but there's a need that for the vehicle park, we should continue to have till the 10% blended fuel being available post 2025. And thereafter, of course, there will be a 20% ethanol blend, and in future, flex fuel vehicles are going to also come in. Bio-CNG can be a game changer for India, as it uses agriculture waste and makes fuel and has a much higher potential to achieve greenhouse gas carbon emission reduction than even ethanol, and it's a carbon negative fuel. And The generation of bio-CNG from agricultural and other waste, as per estimates, can make the CNG vehicle park grow in future. Government has many programs like STAT, Sustainable Alternative Towards Affordable Transportation, which aims to have 5,000 bio-CNG plants in India. And this is something which we are going to see, and it is actually going to be a carbon negative fuel going forward. India has a high number of casualties from road accidents, and road safety is a very critical area that needs active regulation and driver training. The MP 2026 recognizes the need for this and articulates that Indian vehicles will comply with global standards of safety. Recently, the auto industry has progressed towards implementing offset side impact and pedestrian production, and these are relevant for the Indian context. We need to ensure that we do proper analysis of the accident data and see how we can study that data and make interventions which would be relevant for India. The UN Global Plan for the Decade of Action is organized around 5 pillars of safety, which is safe system approach, which is road design infrastructure, user behavior, road safety management, and trauma care for accident victims. I'm sure that we will be seeing a lot of work being done, not just on vehicles, but also on all the other 4 pillars towards ensuring that we will have safer roads for the people. This needs to be looked at, of course, in a holistic manner. Road users, vehicles, network, environment, all of this we need to look at an integrated manner, and a wide variety of interventions are required to be done. The auto industry is working very closely with the Government of India to address all these issues. Auto industry is also working with the test agencies for having Bharat NCAP, which is being worked on. This is also going to educate customers on the level of safety of vehicles, and as we go into the next decade, we should have such measures, methods in which we can actually rate vehicles, which would help customer decision about various types of vehicles, and also it will ensure newer technologies coming into our vehicles. This will overall create that ecosystem for these technologies going forward, localize these technologies, educate the customers, educate the road users, build the infrastructure, and thereby providing safer roads for all of us. India has challenge, from an environment perspective. Many of these cities are today are on the top of the list of having bad EQI. Auto industry is, of course, done leapfrogging to the BS6 in 2020. The industry has put in the effort to do that. The oil industry has put in the effort to do that. This is going to give us substantial gains in terms of transport sector emissions going forward. As we go along, the BS6 next phase is also going to come in 2023, where real driving emissions are also going to be monitored. So we expect that the vehicles which are now coming out are equivalent to what is being coming out in, say, Europe in terms of regulations. Having said that, we have a huge vehicle park, and we also need to see how we can take care of that. We need to have a very strong inspection and maintenance mechanism. The government has already released the notification for scrappage. We need to work on that. But for that, there is to be a robust inspection and maintenance centers which need to be built across India, so that vehicles which are not roadworthy, they have to be taken off the road, and that's one thing which we need to do. And older vehicles in the park which are inefficient or which are not roadworthy, which are not meeting or the emission standards, they need to retire so that overall the emissions from vehicles reduces. Of course, apart from that, other technology imperatives by the auto industry is going to reduce the emissions coming out from vehicles. However, there is also a need to look at not just the transport sector, but also look at other ways of reducing the particulate matter, which is the largest concern area, PM 2.5, especially in areas of road dust, industrial emissions, and so on and so forth. And so those also combined effort needs to be done in order to ensure that we can reduce the AQI to acceptable levels, and we need a holistic approach towards pollution mitigation plan, and we need to look at what is required to be done in each of these cities where these sources of pollution are high, and we should also continue to study the source apportionment, continue to update that, and continue to take necessary actions by all stakeholders to ensure that we are having a better air quality index for all.